Okay. This is Mike Zupan with Byte-Size Impressions, and I'm playing a little Shadow of Mordor tonight. Usually I have the camera up in the corner, but there's a lot of information that I need to read up in that corner of the screen for this particular game, so I'm going to keep it off for this stream. But another thing I want to do is talk about this whole debate regarding Assassin's Creed Unity and parity and the reaction to the announcement yesterday. First, let's go ahead and get in the game. How much time did I put in? Curious about that. Oh, just about 9 hours. It's really easy to get sucked into this game with the Nemesis system. It's a flawed game. It's not perfect, but it is a lot of fun. And the Nemesis system is what really is the glue for the whole experience.
Is it mine?
Every ranger should have his own blade. Care for it always. It is an extension of you.
I'd even be as bold to state that the Nemesis system is like the first building block for the kind of gaming experience I want going forward in this generation. And the next, and the next. Just we haven't really seen anything like it before, and, you know, here we are. Okay, so Assassin's Creed Unity parody. There is a huge Twitter campaign that's been getting bandied about on Twitter. And its purpose is to sort of get Ubisoft to change their mind and, you know, spend some time, I guess, in order to make the PS4 version of Assassin's Creed Unity have parity. Because there's a lot of assumptions being made right now. And that's sort of what I want to discuss, is the assumptions. A lot of people, unfortunately, and I really hate to say this because I don't like to come down on the gaming community usually in general, because I'm very pro-consumer. I'm not anti-business. However, one thing I am against is when companies sort of do what they do to benefit themselves and not have any benefit for the consumers really whatsoever. But, you know, there are a very, more than a few people out there that have a lot of assumptions going into this thing with Assassin's Creed. In case you've somehow missed the news, which, if you see the advertisement on my stream on Twitter, I'm sure you've seen the news. But basically, some months ago, I think around E3 time, somebody involved, the level designer with the game, said, you know, we're aiming for 1080p and 60 frames per second with Shadow of Mordor on both systems. On both systems. Which is key, because they were apparently aiming for parity across the board back then. Of course, nobody was complaining about parity at that point. They just didn't care, because they were going to get their 1080p, their 60 frames per second. There was no problems with parity at that time. So yesterday, or late in the day before, basically what we end up seeing is a comment from Ubisoft that they want to. Well, not they want to. They are. They're going to make the game 900p and 30 frames per second. I mean, the game's due out in like a month, a little over a month, I think. It's already seen a brief delay, and sorry, I'm in battle. Things happen, and I just lost my intel over a silly little mistake like that. Oh well. So anyway, there was parity. Nobody cared. And then they came out a day or two ago, and they said, yeah, we decided to go this route instead, so that we'd have parity and not have to deal with like debates or anything like that. Well, it was a really poor PR move saying that, because hello, yeah, of course there's going to be debate. There's going to be nothing but debate. As a result of that whole initial statement, which was only part of the statement, mind you, just the soundbite, really, that people tended to latch onto. The whole, parody in order to avoid debate thing. And, yeah. Now we have on Twitter, PS4, no parody, trending. And people want, people who own a PS4, they're upset. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be upset. I'm not saying that they couldn't have, made the best possible version for each console. And I'm not saying that we're not getting the best possible version on each console. But there's been a lot of discussion about the alleged nefarious things that are going on behind the scenes there. The most popular theory of which is that Microsoft paid Ubisoft in order to maintain parity across the consoles so that, they wouldn't lose out on a bunch of sales from people who might want to buy it for the Xbox One, but not if the PS4 version, runs better. Continue this in a moment. Another idea is that, Ubisoft have their own plan for wanting to maintain parity for whatever reason. One of those reasons being that it could possibly save them some development time. They don't have to optimize for each console. It's the most cost-effective way to go about things. I'm not a developer. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's one of the other ideas that have been floating around out there.
Get your people out of Mordor tonight, or you'll all be dead by dawn.
By the way, the voice acting in this game has been pretty damn good.
There is a hidden tunnel to the Black Gate. Aaron, it's time. Goodbye, my friend.
Of course, there is another possibility in all this, and the possibility is that maybe, just maybe, after Ubisoft spent what was probably 4 years developing this game, as they say, it's from the ground up, because it is the first next-gen exclusive Assassin's Creed game. They were going for a lot of big ideas for this title.
All except me.
For example, they were talking about, having 5,000 NPCs originally.
You are still alive.
Which is kind of insane.
Bring me the head.
It's no wonder that they said,
Grave.
Ubisoft said that they ended up seeing some bottlenecking going on.
The Ranger from the Black Gate. Where was your bravery when we bled your wife and gutted your son? Kill him!
Oh, this dude means business.
The Dark Lord will rule.
Oh. Ow. I gotta be careful here. Maybe, just maybe, after so much time developing the game, and after being so ambitious, Ubisoft just kind of ran out of time. They don't have time to sort of, optimize for each platform as we prefer them to do. And I'm not advocating that people need to take that position, and that's exactly what's happening. My whole point, my whole stance here is that it's a possibility. Anything is possible, right? Ooh.
Is this your best, Grave Walker? Now you may feel the death.
And that's just it. Everybody's sort of bandying about on Twitter and, message boards, and they're all saying, similar variations of the same 2 or 3 ideas of what's happening behind the scenes here, and, why it's bad, and why Ubisoft is terrible, and why Microsoft is behind it, or, whatever. It's all just really petty, stupid stuff.
Is this your best, Grave Walker?
And maybe, the worst scenario is the one that's the truth, but at the same time, we don't know. And when people go online and they pretend like they know everything when they know nothing, it doesn't mean that it's reality. And that's all I've literally been trying to say. And I have an article that I put up today on Byte-Size Impressions in regards to my opinions on this whole thing. The point, simply, is that nobody knows anything. That's it. I mean, 98% of the people that are commenting on this whole thing are not game developers, just like I'm not. And I have not for one moment pretended to know anything that other people don't. I mean, why would I do that? I don't know anything.
Finish him, you useless orc filth.
Ooh. And that's sort of my problem with the whole situation, is that everybody is pretending to know everything. By the way, if you're on the stream, I am monitoring the chat room from my cell phone here. I got the screen all lit up. And I will respond on the stream here. So if you have any input, if you have any questions about, my opinion on this whole thing, or if you have anything you want to say, feel free. Ow. I try to like get like combos going, but then that dude like pulls off that move where I have to hit the X to avoid his attack, and then it just completely louses everything up. So I mean, there was a lot of controversy earlier this year with Watch Dogs because, you know, they for some reason they ended up more or less making parity between the PC version and the console version simultaneously, and, you know, there were those files that were found in the game that they're like, oh wait, there are higher settings there. How come they said they didn't downgrade the game? Well, you know, we don't really know any facts about that either, honestly. You know, maybe they just didn't have time to optimize that for the PC. Who knows? Watch Dogs was another game that ended up having to be delayed. So, it is disappointing, don't get me wrong, if they're not getting the most that they should be from the PlayStation 4. You know, owners of each respective console should have the best possible version. They should. There's no question about it. But, you know, they may have, in development, bit off a bit more that they could chew. They were very ambitious with a lot of different ideas. They were changing some of the gameplay up a little bit in order to satisfy some longtime fans of the franchise, to make it more engaging for everyone all around. Damn. So, you know, it appears as if they were aiming for parity. They did achieve it, just at lower specs. And maybe this is the concession they had to make in order to make sure that the game was stable on both platforms in time for release, because maybe they just ran out of time. You know, I don't want to give a company like Ubisoft benefit of the doubt because I'm an Ubisoft apologist or anything like that. And that's another thing about all the assumptions going on, is that people are making lots of assumptions. Just in the last 24 hours alone, I've been called an Ubisoft apologist. I've been, on one forum, somebody said I'm basically doing the equivalent of sticking my fingers in my ears and going la 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 la, and just not listening or caring about what's going on, ignoring facts. And that's, you know, that's the funny thing to me. There are no facts right now, just what a bunch of PR people are saying. And while you can use that PR mumbo-jumbo to sort of try and figure out what happened, that PR stuff mostly isn't fact. It's PR.
Is this your The
Ow. I'm getting sloppy. Ow. Damn. They want me to stay in this little green bubble. Hey, I wasn't leaving. I'm still within the little green confines of the area. Oh, they're gonna jump. Ugh. It's the one thing about this game. There are certain controls that just they don't really work the way that you would expect them to. Sometimes, like, I can't even jump up on a platform. It just gets a little janky and it doesn't work. Alright, let's try this again. Damn it.
Now you may deal the death blow and prove your worth, King Phil once now. Your time is not now. Is this your first great war?
Come on over.
Your time is not now. I teach you what real pain is. You rose from the grave, but now you will meet eternal death. Is this your best, Grave Walker?
Sorry for the lack of noise here. It's getting pretty intense.
I will teach you what real pain is.
Wow, what is going on here? There's plenty of room, but I was getting stuck.
Take danger. Time to die. Back to Earth, Gravewalker. All at once. Now I am finish you useless orc filth. How does your vengeance taste, Talion? Is not the darkness sweet?
There we go.
You acted too hastily. There's much we could have learned.
He slaughtered my entire family before my very eyes. What would you have done?
Do you speak with the living? Or only with the dead?
Who are you?
My name is Lothario, from the Sea of Nurnen. My mother said you would be here. And here you are.
Well, Lothario from the Sea of Nurnen. You should have stayed where you were. There's nothing here but death.
Lady Marwyn, Queen of the Shore, wishes an audience with you. She has seen visions of your misfortune.
A queen who sees visions.
Visions of the return of the great Celebrimbor. She wishes to make him an offering.
And what is this offering?
That is all I know. I must gather provisions. The return to Nurnen is long and treacherous. My camp is close by. It will be my honor to escort you.
Well, that guy took a little bit to defeat.
We have defeated the Hammer of Sauron, but the Black Hand and the Tower remain.
And their master.
Alright, let's see what kind of upgrades I have. You know, another thing to remind people of too is that resolution really does not mean everything. Most people on their TV sets at home are not going to notice a huge difference between 900p and 1080p. I can notice the difference, but I mean, it's not like this huge generational gap or anything at all.
Makes sense. Why else would a menfolk be so weak?
For example, a lot of people really like to crap on the Xbox One for whatever reason. But it definitely has the capability of, you know, producing really great games. Rise is one of the best looking next-gen titles there are right now. So far. There are other really great looking games this generation, sure, but I mean, to deny that as being a great looking game would sort of be a little silly. Because it is, regardless of how you feel about the game and its gameplay, it looks great. And it's 900p. If Assassin's Creed Unity is 900p and only 30 frames per second, I'm not going to be all that bothered by it. Uh-oh. I wonder if this hurts. Oh, more Caragors are attacking. I'll get away from them. Yeah, I won't be bothered by Assassin's Creed Unity being 900p. I think it's going to look great. I think what they're attempting to do is going to leave one heck of an impression if there's going to be a ton of NPCs that you can see when you're on top of buildings and everything. It'll make Paris really feel alive. More alive than anything we've seen in the franchise to date.
He said it was you that let them soft-skins escape. Did he now? Well, get out of my way when he's here. I'll take care of myself.
Starting this mission will take you to a new area. You can return at any time by fast traveling. Well, okay. Works for me. But before I head there, again, I want to clarify, I'm not being an Ubisoft apologist. I'm not ignoring what are perceived to be facts. I'm merely saying there are none. And I think a lot of people that are out there advocating for boycotting a game that they haven't seen with their own two eyes, haven't seen reviews for, haven't heard impressions from people on message boards or friends, without having played the game. complaining about it right now and saying they're just not going to support this game when they have absolutely no idea why Ubisoft had settled for this sort of parity across both platforms. It astonishes me. I want to know answers too, and I'd really like for something to come out or somebody to leak some sort of information or whatever, so that we do know what happened. But we don't. I've also been accused recently of being the guy that likes to hate video games. like that couldn't be further from the truth. I love video games, and that's why I'm so passionate about certain things in the industry. It's why if you go to ByteSizeImpressions.com, and that's Byte with a Y, Byte-Size Impressions, all one word, my editorials there are there to help consumers. They're there to hopefully provide, through my perspective, at least some perspective on that provides a little bit of transparency as to what might be going on in the industry. And even if I might be wrong, again, they're opinion pieces. At least it could get, people to start thinking about how the money they spend helps to set precedences, helps to send a message to these companies saying, I'm okay with this, or I'm not okay with this. I'm not willing to not enjoy a game based on conjecture. Destiny, I felt like that game screwed me hard. I had fun leading up to level 20, I hit level 20, and it was like a wall. And I've done that sort of thing in games before. And I don't mind the grind. It's not, for me, personally, it was not fun at that point in Destiny. There wasn't that much content at that point that you were able to bounce around from. You had already done it. You'd finished the campaign. And you were just going to bounce around, doing the same slew of strike missions and stuff over and over and over again until you leveled up and then started doing a little bit more variety of the same old thing again and again and again. And I just don't see that game at this point anymore as anything but a DLC platform. So you know what? I said I'm not doing this anymore. I sold it. I'm going to buy Assassin's Creed Unity. And why? Because there is no facts out there right now. We don't know. I'm willing to think that there was probably some... If somebody said, what is your guess as to what happened, like right now? Pick a scenario, just one. I personally think that this game has been in development for a long time. It is an annual franchise. This is the year that they want to break onto next gen with their game. They don't want to wait another year and spend that much more time and money on it. If 900p is the concession they had to make in order to maintain parity, and parity was their objective all along, I just think they bit off more than they could chew. They probably would optimize for the PS4 if they had the time. They already had delayed the game a couple of weeks as it was from late October until sometime in November. Now, the latest statement that I've seen, is that they said that these specs are not finalized. Keep in mind that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag launched at 900p. And on the PS4, it did get upgraded to 1080p through a patch. That could be possible. But because we don't know the future, and I like Assassin's Creed, and I don't know the facts behind this story, I'm not going to pretend like I do. I'm not going to hate a game just to hate it. I'm going to buy it and hopefully enjoy it. So, let's move on with this story in this game, which is not an 8 or a 9. I think it's probably so far for me a 7. Because it does have its flaws, but it is so much fun. It really is. But it does have lots of flaws.
The smell of fresh meat always attracts the scavengers.
And they tend to travel in packs. You should leave now.
Queen will be pleased to see you. We are here. Lady Marwen, Queen of the Shore.
The fallen ranger from the Black Gate. Come closer.
Your daughter claims you have something for me.
Not for you, Talion.
One thing that's interesting to know is that in the first part of this game, there was a very Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth-ish kind of score that accompanied it. And while this score works, it seems more sort of generic orchestra. It doesn't really feel like Lord of the Rings, the music. But,
Is that why I'm here?
at times it has flares where it sounds like it could fit, but it started getting a bit more generic for me.
The elven craftwork from the ghouls. And find the dwarf.
Stay strong, Mother. Come.
What is your mother's affliction?
No one knows. She worsened after her travels.
Is there not medicine?
There was, but our camp was overrun.
There must be a better life than this.
By the way, on my latest editorial that I provided on ByteSizeImpressions.com today called So Much for Unity in the Community, I ended it with an important quote from Andre Guide. At least I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Gide. He's not a video game industry person. It's just an interesting life quote that I came across at one point. And it said, "Believe those who are seeking the truth. Doubt those who find it." And in this case, with the Assassin's Creed Unity thing,
Way to Morgoth's Scar. There's a good chance we can pick up the ghouls.
I can't think of a quote that fits any better.
We passed earlier by the ravine.
Now, I spent over 8 hours in the armpit of Mordor, which looked kind of ugly. And really, even though it fit for that location based on what we've seen in the Middle-earth universe and Peter Jackson's films and whatnot, it'll be interesting to see how this area fares.
So it don't really matter.
Well, that certainly was nice. I can climb this right here. And I can get a good view, I'm guessing, of this new area. Well, let's see how it looks.
Like hands of silver spread through Sauron's land, these towers push away the darkness.
I
Does the
am...
Queen know of your past?
Ancient knowledge lays unseen by all but spirits. She can see into both worlds.
Then perhaps she will lead us to what we seek.
I'm pleased by what I see, at least compared to the other area, but for the most part, it still looks... Do you see that pop in? And that wall in the background? Watch. I mean, come on. I see that kind of thing all the time. There's really no excuse for it.
This is how the Dark Lord shall feed his armies.
I don't know, this area seems like... It also seems really bland, just really green. I guess it's better than bland and brown, though.
I don't like the way that man scum smells. Smells like dinner to me.
Her eyes were able to see your true form.
She wants the maker of the Rings of Power to awaken.
Ah, he sees me. Come and get it.
Time to end you.
Oh, good. You have intel for me. This interrogation technique, by the way, is way cooler than the interrogation stuff that we saw in the Batman Arkham games. Oh, I can even get intel on these guys. Very nice. I need to do a lot of interrogating. I should try and save as many orcs for that as I can. Now maybe I can interrogate this guy. He's just standing guard. Oh, he looks pretty nasty. Little rhino horn helmet going on there? That thing could skewer. Hold on one second. I gotta plug in my PS4 Gold wireless headset here. It's getting depleted. Fortunately, though, I do keep a cable plugged in the outlet next to my couch here for such an occasion. Oh, are you running? I don't think so. Nice try, though. That was cute. Running away like that.
So many dead Buruks. I must thank the ghouls before I slaughter them.
Ghouls are scavengers. They take all, but leave one thing behind.
I must locate the ghouls' tracks.
Yeah, really, as far as the layout of this area,
There's our trail.
it still reminds me very much of the other area, just very much more lush with greenery.
How will we lead Marwyn's scouts to the ambush?
Hey, did you hear? The Resistance freed the slaves from the next camp over. Don't get your hopes up. Hope is what
My patience, and you'll be supper!
I love it that jumping down there just set off the Caragors and they're eating other Urukai. It's awesome.
Get that slide!
Okay, he's killing dudes. I gotta stop going south and save him. Huh, looks like they're running. Good for them. I almost thought I was jumping to my death there for a second. There we go.
This hollow bleeds with death.
And this must be Morgoth's scar.
So if I have a message for gamers tonight, it's just don't,
Recognize that ghastly stench.
don't jump to conclusions, and if you do, make sure that you're sharing your ideas as opinion as opposed to fact. I mean, that's it, really. I mean, there's a lot of things that Ubisoft has done wrong in the past. There are a lot of things that companies like EA have done, Activision, and so on and so forth. They deserve a lot of crap that they get, yes. And, at the same time, before we pounce on these companies, we need to know that we're pouncing on them for the right reasons. Have they done terrible things before? Have they done things that are sort of not consumer friendly or anti-consumer? Sure. But let's be fair. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not make up ideas. Let's especially not, make stuff up and just say, Yep, this is what's happening.
Ghouls.
Microsoft paid Ubisoft for parody.
These flames might prove useful if we are overwhelmed.
It's just there's no evidence to support that whatsoever. People are making connections where there are none in that respect to be made. I see a third person has joined the stream. By the way, just so you know, I am monitoring the chat from the Twitch app on my phone. And I'm talking about the Assassin's Creed Unity 900p 30 frames per second debate. Oh no. They're coming. I better run now. Whoa. Okay.
The ghouls know we are here. I can feel them rumbling beneath my feet.
Oh, I have to get through without, okay, I gotcha. You know, and another thing that this whole thing with Assassin's Creed Unity really has done that disappoints me is, once again, sort of reveals that
My best move is
there are a lot of people out there that just is not, they're just not logical. You know, not only are you know, a bunch of people out there not logical, and I do not like to come down on the gaming community at times, because we're all in this together. We are all gamers. We, you know, our interest should be in helping each other out and dissecting the facts and, you know, not making up facts in order to fill in the blanks. You know, sometimes there isn't a neat and clean answer. Sometimes we don't get the whole story. That happens a lot with this industry. That's partly why I have been, you know,
might prove useful if we are overwhelmed.
invigorated, if you will, in such a way to write editorials that help to provide some perspective. And keep people, you know, wondering about the motives in the industry, why certain decisions are made, and where the future of gaming is headed. You know, there's a lot of this. There's like a wall. Hopefully that does not attract attention. And it did. Damn.
The ghouls know we are here. I can feel them rumbling beneath my feet.
Kill retreating ghouls before they enter a mound to trigger the swarm. Damn. This is gonna be tricky. I'm not great at stealth stuff. It's just disappointing to see so much ugliness come out over something like resolution and frame rate and parity and, you know, when, like, sometimes I don't even recognize, you know what's going on with this industry anymore. I mean, there's this divide. There's a wall between developers consumers. And it's because there's a lot of people in the gaming community that just have this very toxic outlook and behavior. And while I've been accused myself, even just within the last 24 hours, of being, quote-unquote, the guy that likes to hate video games, just because I'm critical of many things that are happening in the industry, you couldn't be further from the truth. It's because I love my video games that I'm critical. It's because I have seen a lot of history in this industry, and I've seen a lot of things where one idea leads to another, and then another, and then another. It's the whole slippery slope thing. And I hate to say slippery slope because that sort of leads to this idea that, you know, it's all conspiracy theory stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, I thought that was going to be the end for me right there, too, honestly.
A treasure room. Your heirloom must be.
But that's the whole thing, you know. If you're going to keep an eye out, if you're going to be honest about the industry, you're going to be honest with yourself. At the same time, you have to know when to be fair. And a great time to be fair is when you don't have all the facts.
Made by the Dark Lord himself. And still covered in my family's blood.
And again, and because it needs repeating, because people do get the wrong idea. I'm not saying I don't want answers. And I'm not saying when I get those answers, I'm just going to say, okay. Anything is possible. But I'm not going to string a company up by their necks over something that could very well be due to problems with the game, technically, in the development process. You know? And that's really, I think, the difference between hating something and just being critical. Crap. I think that fire killed that dude. No, there he is. Yeah, they definitely want me to use arrows on that dude. Shit. I'm getting my ass handed to me here. Frig. Shit. Get away from me, dude. shit.
The storm is past.
The danger.
I thought that was it. Now I have to escape, and I got a countdown. That can't be good. Probably gonna have a bunch of those ghouls chasing
Escape this darkness.
behind me. Yeah, here they come.
Those fires will stop them. The entrance is nigh, and so is our end if we don't reach it in time.
Shit. In hindsight, that didn't seem like much what I just did, but it was pretty intense. Oh yeah, just put a flaming barrel at my frickin' feet. Fantastic idea. Ah, who is this fellow?
Pity to end your military career inside the belly of a ghoul, eh? I'm Torvin, the Beast Hunter. And I bet 10 pints you just nabbed the treasure I was after.
Now, I am grateful for the assistance, but it does not grant you proprietary rights.
Keep it! I just found something a lot more valuable.
And what would that be?
My new hunting partner!
What you hunt does not interest me, Master Dwarf.
Even if it leads you to the chisel that belongs with that hammer. Every creature's got its lure. Yours just happens to be very old. Well, if the thrill of the hunt takes your fancy, my camp's not far.
Find the dwarf.
Out of curiosity, let's take a look at Twitter at hashtag PS4 no parody. It comes up right at the top of the list. Okay. If you really believe Ubisoft voluntarily opted for this, you're an arguable idiot. Money swung them. It's what Xbox does. First thing that pops up for me. It's crazy. If you pay for a console with better specs, you expect to play games at those specs, not some watered down shite. Simple as. If you agree with forced parity in the console or gaming in general industry, you're an idiot fanboy. This is the same person who made the post about money swaying Ubisoft. I mean, you know, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. They don't even know that there was some behind-the-scenes backroom deal that happened, yet they're out here calling other people idiots. For what? Ubisoft, you guys to decide to downgrade one game in order to please another. That's not a fact. With a stunt like that, I'm canceling my pre-order. See, we have an idea that they want to build their games with parity in mind. Does that necessarily mean that they're being paid off? It might, but then it might not. That's just the whole thing about not knowing. Not knowing literally means you don't know. First Watch Dogs, now AC Unity, what's next? The Crew, the Division to be downgraded as well, to match the Xbox One. If Ubi can't push 1080p for the PS4, I'm out. Please, guys, I know the Xbox One can't, but don't bring the PS4 down also. I haven't really been keeping up on my news with the Order 1886, but I did read somewhere today, and again, this is just a comment, I think, on a message board, but so it could be wrong, but is the Order not going to be 1080p?
What of your vision, Killer Bimbo?
What will Sony fans be saying?
Water, air, and fire.
What will they be saying when that game comes out? It looks great. Not going to worry about resolution. See, that's the beautiful thing about my situation here at home. When it comes to pretty much any generation of console gaming, I'm all in. And I'm all in this generation. I'm sitting here, I've got the Wii U, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and I'm not saying that as some sort of gloat or anything, I'm just saying alright, where am I supposed to go up here? Okay. It wasn't really clear there for a moment. What I'm saying is that I don't have to worry about fanboy nonsense, and I don't have to get caught up in it. The fact that we have factions of gamers out there who don't recognize themselves just as gamers, but instead Xbots and Sony ponies is, it's almost hateful by design. And as I said before, there's this wall between developers and video gamers, and this is the reason why. So often you get so much hate spewed based on nothing. And when I say nothing, I don't mean that, this whole parody thing isn't a big deal or that it's disappointing. I'm just saying that we don't know the reason for it. I want answers just like anyone, but there was earlier this year, I believe it was, Cliff Bleszinski, who started off a long time ago making really old school PC platforming games like Jazz the Jackrabbit, and I believe he was eventually involved with Unreal Tournament. Ended up gaining a lot more notoriety for his involvement with Gears of War. But he took to Twitter at one point, and what was it that he said? He said something along the lines like, "Oh yeah, I was chatting with a bunch of my developer friends, and guess what?" He was talking about NeoGAF, by the way. That community. He said, "Guess what? A lot of them think, you're a bunch of cunts." And I believe he specified he was talking about at least 100 other like developer friends of his. You know, and it's really not cool for a developer to go out there and put that out there, you know. But at the same time, as shitty as that is, you know, you can sort of take a look at something that's going on right now, this whole PS4 no parity hashtag nonsense. And I do say nonsense because it does pretty much boil down to a lot of people complaining about something they know nothing about for the time being.
Escaped slaves are growing in number. We need to squash them like pigs. The damn leader of theirs is becoming too much of a menace. See that blacksmith? Look! It's a carnivore!
You know, gamers are a very bright and intelligent community of people. They're passionate. They care about video games. It's all that really matters, really. But you know, they're hateful towards one another. You know, the very, very heated and vocal minority. And at the same time, they turn it around and they're hateful towards the people that develop these games. So I can understand when someone like Cliff Bleszinski comes out and says something like that. But this whole, you know, blame game thing going on back and forth constantly is just, it's too much. It's too much. It needs to stop. It really, really needs to stop. Alright, so that tower is the one that I came from originally. The next one... The next ones are over yonder. I think I'll go unlock this one over to the left. Why in hell's not? But yeah, I mean, this issue is exactly the sort of thing that I campaign against with my writing. You know, I think there needs to be a lot of understanding from both sides. I think we need to sort of have some idea that we shouldn't be hateful to begin with. We should be open to discussion, for another thing. There are just some people out there that are just, they get so angry by everything, and they just, and some of them don't even realize like how out of line they are or how they come across. I mean, somebody I was chatting with today, he's someone I played Destiny with quite a bit when I owned the game. Really cool, nice dude, but it's like, you know, the moment I start, you know, I don't know. It turned into a pretty heated debate, and it's like all I was literally saying in the conversation is like, look, you can't say anything definitively one way or the other. It's all I'm literally saying. There are no facts. You're like, oh, we have these quotes. They're facts. No, they're not. It's all convoluted at this point because somebody said one thing. Ubisoft went back and lied and said a different thing. Then there was another follow-up. I mean, you know, it's all PR babble. It's all PR stuff. You have to take all of that with a grain of salt. Unless you know somebody who's working on the game that specifically knows something, there's not much else to be said.
Maybe it was just rats. Oh, together! I see you! Crush him!
Oh, my guy with the intel's on the run. Oh, sweet. Environmental hazard. See you later.
You understand? You were so hungry. Is it a crime to try and feed your family? You must help.
What was really nice today, though, after I posted my article and linked to it on Twitter, somebody actually linked to it with hashtag PS4, it was parody all along. And, you know, it's always nice to know that somebody read your work and somebody appreciated it. Someone sort of is on the same page as you are. Because, I don't expect everybody to be. As a matter of fact, I expect a lot of people to probably, disagree with me vehemently about a good number of things. Namely because there are a lot of biases out there that unfortunately do and always will come into the picture. Even if people don't think they're biased, some of them clearly do come off as being so, regardless of what they say. Yeah, this area of the game is definitely a lot cooler than good old dusty brown Mordor. I think layout-wise, a lot of it feels very, very similar, which isn't exactly a good thing. But as I said before, this game has a lot of flaws and, interesting world design is, not up there, so the lack of is a problem. It's not terrible. Not by any stretch of the imagination, it's just...
A fortification of my house, made in stones of memory.
Who knows, another year in development and this game could have been something else, but at some point, these games take a long time to make, they take a long time to produce, and at some point you have to take a look at how much you're looking to possibly make with a game, especially when it's something new like this. And you don't know how well it's going to do or not. And you have to say, okay, we have to cut our losses. We have to, wrap things up. We have to make sure the game is done by so-and-so date. Put a bow on it. Let's go.
Came across some Not that again. They were made by slaves, dragging their feet. SoM too. Must be.
Wonder how long I can get away with this for.
Ranger, you have to help. My brother was speaking ill of the Dark Lord. It made the slaver furious. Finally, I'm free. Thank you. Thank you.
If there's one thing I hate, it's standing around waiting for some bloodletting. Ranger, if you're out there, come and fight. I want a good distraction. Suffer me now!
So anyway, obviously, as I was saying before, this whole Assassin's Creed Unity thing inspired me to write an article about what's been going on with the community today and last night, and how everybody's been sort of behaving. I had an article that I was going to put up live today, but this is a bit more of a more time-sensitive thing since it's sort of happening right now, so... I put my Assassin's Creed opinions up, and my next article is going to go live on Thursday, and it's about more or less how I feel that while we've had an okay year, 2014 video games wise, it's been a disappointing year, I think, overall, just because I think there's been a lot of really good games that just haven't lived up to their potential. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Because obviously, you're going to have to read the article when I post it on ByteSizeImpressions.com on Thursday.
My slaves keep dying too quick when I'm talking.
Wonder how far this Karagor is going to travel to tear some asses. I wonder if he's going to go get those Urukai right over there. No. Wonder if I shoot an arrow, if it's going to chase us down to that arrow. Oh, it is. I can lead it to the Urukai. Yeah. There we go. See, that's kind of something that was really awesome in Far Cry 3. And I'm really pleased that it works here in this game too. What do we got here? Vault stunned. Vaulting over an enemy will now leave it stunned. Yeah. Victims of Drain and Flurry Kill will explode, causing nearby enemies to recoil in terror. Ah, that stun thing seems way too good to pass up. Boy, I really need to unlock a lot more of these trees here. Wow, he is making Urukai his lunch. Good for it. Now I can't let that thing roam around. It's time to... Ooh. I was gonna say put it down, but I don't have any more arrows. Oh shit. Alright. Well, that could have been hairy. No pun intended. Okay, maybe a little pun intended. Alright, did I unlock this one? Yeah, I did. At least I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I'm looking off this way. So, okay. How about now? This way. Which would be that one. Yep, okay. Well, it's getting a tad bit late for me. Thank you very much, guys and or gals, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure chatting with you this evening, even if nobody's really been partaking in the chat, but I'm always available for it. For future reference, and make sure you tune in. And stay in touch on Twitter. I post a lot there every day. Random thoughts. Little things that I'm thinking that may not be very deserving of their own complete, approach with an editorial. I stream at least usually a few nights a week, starting around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And keep an eye on Byte-Size-Impressions.com, and that's Byte with a Y. I will be contributing there, as it's my website, regularly, and I do have a couple of other content providers on tap, but it's not going to be a buffet of stuff for you to read each and every single day. That is not the idea. Big enough news stories will get some attention, of course, in a timely manner. Other editorial pieces, opinion pieces will show up. when there's something worth saying. And as far as that's concerned, that's all for now that needs to be said. Other than the fact that, of course, I hope you enjoy it. So that's it for me, everybody. Have a wonderful night.